Picture this. You wake up one morning, pour yourself a hot cup of coffee, and take that first strong sip, expecting the fog to lift. But it doesn't. Your thoughts still feel heavy, like you're moving through molasses. You sit down to check your emails, and suddenly the words blur together. A name you've known for years takes minutes to recall. You walk into the kitchen, only to forget why you went there in the first place. You're not sick, you're not in pain, but something is clearly off. This, my friends, is what countless patients over the years have described to me as living in a mental fog. And if you're over 50, chances are you've experienced this more than once. Here on Senior Health After 50, we're pulling back the curtain on this mysterious phenomenon, brain fog. And let me be clear, while brain fog may be common, it is never normal. It is your body's warning light on the dashboard, a signal that something deeper inside needs attention. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to share with you real stories of people who reversed years of mental haze, the science behind why it happens, and simple, powerful steps you can start tonight to regain your sharpness, clarity, and confidence. And before we dive in, if you care about protecting your mind, your memory, and your independence as you age, go ahead and hit that like button, share this video with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel. That way, you'll never miss the health strategies that could change your life after 50. What is brain fog? Redefining the symptom. Brain fog isn't a disease you can diagnose with a blood test or a quick scan. No doctor will circle it on your lab results and say, "Here's your problem." Instead, it's more like a cluster of everyday frustrations that quietly chip away at your confidence. You can't focus on what you're reading. You lose track of conversations halfway through. Simple problem solving feels like climbing a hill, and an invisible weight of mental fatigue hangs over you. One of the best ways to picture it is to imagine a lamp in your living room. The bulb itself isn't broken, and the wires are still there, but for some reason, the electricity is weak. Instead of a room bathed in bright light, you get a dim glow that strains your eyes. That's brain fog. Your mind is still there, but its brightness is being blocked by something upstream. We've all seen public figures struggle with moments that hint at this kind of fog. Take Winston Churchill, for example. History remembers him as one of the sharpest leaders of the 20th century, yet his personal journals describe periods where his mind felt heavy with a black dog, slowing his focus and clarity. Today, we'd probably call part of that combination brain fog, a mix of stress, exhaustion, and mood weighing down his mental sharpness. Or think of someone more modern. Joe Biden has openly spoken about his lifelong battle with a stutter. While that's not the same as brain fog, it highlights how even the most powerful people can feel trapped when the brain and words don't line up smoothly. Many older adults describe brain fog in the same way, a frustrating gap between what they know internally and how they can express it in the moment. Another example, Oprah Winfrey once admitted in an interview that during a particularly stressful period of her career, she would forget why she had walked into a room or lose her train of thought during live conversations. Here was one of the most influential communicators in the world, suddenly stumbling on her own words, all because of stress and fatigue clouding her mental clarity. These examples remind us that brain fog doesn't discriminate. It can happen to world leaders, celebrities, and everyday people alike. It's not a sign of weakness or permanent decline, it's a signal. Something, whether it's lack of sleep, chronic stress, diet, or even hormonal shifts, is interfering with the brain's natural brilliance. So when you catch yourself rereading the same page 5 times, forgetting the name of a neighbor you've known for years, or struggling to make a simple decision at the grocery store, don't panic. You're not losing your mind. You're experiencing the brain's version of cloudy weather. And just as clouds can clear to reveal a bright sky, so too can brain fog lift once you identify and address what's dimming your mental light. The causes of brain fog, 6 hidden triggers that dim the mind. 1. Stress, the silent saboteur. Stress isn't just a feeling, it's a full-body biological reaction. When cortisol and adrenaline are constantly circulating, your brain shifts into survival mode, sacrificing clarity and focus just to keep you going. Imagine driving a car with your foot pressed on the accelerator all day long. You'll eventually burn out the engine. That's what chronic stress does to your mind. Even world leaders have admitted to this. Barack Obama once revealed that the endless stream of decisions he faced as president often left him mentally drained. To protect his focus, he famously wore the same color suit most days, minimizing small choices so he could save mental energy for life or death decisions. That's not just clever time management, that's neuroscience in action, avoiding the cognitive overload that stress brings. I've seen this play out countless times in my clinic. Seniors come in convinced that memory slips mean dementia, when really their brains are suffocating under constant stress. One woman, who had been caring for her husband with advanced Parkinson's, described her mind as wrapped in fog. Only when she began practicing prayer walks in her garden each evening did her clarity slowly return. 2. Lack of sleep, the brain's forgotten fuel. Sleep isn't downtime, it's your brain's most important maintenance shift. At night, your brain literally washes away waste proteins and toxins through its glymphatic system, a kind of overnight cleaning crew. Cut your sleep short, and you're cooking breakfast in a kitchen full of yesterday's dirty dishes. Look at Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. Despite being one of the busiest men alive, he has repeatedly said he protects 8 hours of sleep every night because it makes him sharper in business and decision-making. If the man running a trillion-dollar company guards his sleep, it should remind us all how critical rest is for a functioning mind. For seniors, poor sleep often comes from frequent bathroom trips, aching joints, or insomnia. But when those issues go unaddressed, brain fog becomes an everyday companion. I once worked with a retired pilot who was terrified he was losing his mental edge. Turned out, he was only sleeping 4 hours a night. Once we fixed his sleep routine, cutting caffeine after lunch, dimming lights before bed, and using relaxation breathing, his memory and focus sharpened dramatically. 3. Hormonal changes. When chemistry shifts the mind, hormones are like the conductors of the brain's orchestra. When they spike or dip, the music of the mind falls out of tune. Michelle Obama has spoken candidly about her menopause journey, admitting that brain fog and mood shifts surprised her more than she expected. That's estrogen at work. It influences neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are central to memory and clarity. During menopause, as estrogen declines, many women experience forgetfulness, difficulty focusing, and even cloudy moods. And it's not just women. Men too can experience hormonal-driven fog when testosterone levels drop with age. A retired CEO I once treated said he felt like his brain was moving through mud. Testing revealed low testosterone, and with lifestyle changes, strength training, balanced diet, and better sleep, his mental spark came roaring back. 4. Diet, feeding, or fogging the brain. The brain is only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes about 20% of your energy. If you feed it junk fuel, don't be surprised when the engine sputters. Steve Jobs, though often controversial in his habits, understood the relationship between diet and mental clarity. He experimented with plant-based eating, claiming it gave him focus and creativity. On the other hand, diets high in processed foods, sugar, or artificial additives like aspartame often trigger inflammation and foggy thinking. I'll never forget one patient in his late 50s, an accountant who kept forgetting client numbers. Blood work revealed a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. With supplementation and a diet shift toward more protein and leafy greens, he came back weeks later saying, "Doc, it feels like someone turned the lights on in my brain." 5. Medications. The double-edged sword. Medications save lives, but many also carry cognitive side effects. Painkillers, sedatives, and even some over-the-counter sleep aids can dull mental sharpness. Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, once shared how certain ADHD medications made him feel foggy, even though they were meant to help him focus. Seniors often report the same, with common prescriptions feeling mentally slowed, even if their pain or sleep improves. And then there's what cancer survivors call chemo brain. After treatment, many describe their thoughts as wrapped in cotton, hard to process, slow to recall. For most, it improves with time, but it illustrates how medications, while healing one part of the body, can temporarily dim the clarity of the mind. 6. Medical conditions, the deeper roots. Sometimes brain fog isn't just a symptom, it's the body's first alarm bell for an underlying illness. Diabetes, thyroid disorders, anemia, migraines, and autoimmune conditions like lupus or multiple sclerosis can all manifest as cloudy thinking before other symptoms become obvious. COVID-19 taught the entire world this lesson. Even after surviving the infection, thousands of people reported lingering brain fog that lasted for weeks or months. A stark reminder of how inflammation and viral stress can hijack mental clarity. History shows us similar lessons. Albert Einstein, in his later years, suffered from an undiagnosed aneurysm. While his case wasn't brain fog per se, it's an example of how hidden medical conditions silently affect the mind long before they become visible. That's why ignoring brain fog is risky. It might be more than just getting older. It may be your body whispering that something deeper needs attention. Diagnosing brain fog, becoming a detective of the mind. Diagnosing brain fog is tricky because there isn't a single test that says, yes, you have it. Instead, doctors act more like detectives, piecing together clues from your daily life, your body chemistry, and sometimes even your history of stress or trauma. Take Hillary Clinton during her years as Secretary of State. After a fainting spell in 2012, doctors ran a battery of tests, blood work, imaging, neurological exams. Why? Because even someone in peak political power, with the sharpest advisors around, can't ignore changes in mental clarity. Brain fog, especially when persistent, can be a red flag pointing to deeper health issues. When patients come to me complaining of fuzzy thinking, I start with questions. How's your sleep? What's your diet like? Any recent stress or major life events? What medications are you taking? We then use tools like blood tests to check for thyroid imbalances, anemia, vitamin deficiencies, or irregular blood sugar. Imaging, MRI, or CT scans may be ordered if something structural needs ruling out. Allergy testing or sleep studies sometimes uncover hidden culprits like sleep apnea or food sensitivities. Think of it like peeling back layers of an onion. The fog is just the outer skin. Once you start peeling, you may uncover inflammation, nutrient shortages, or chronic illness underneath. Treating brain fog, clearing the haze. Treatment isn't one size fits all. Instead, it depends on the root cause we uncover. But the encouraging truth is this: in most cases, brain fog can be lifted. Sleep and recovery. One of the simplest but most overlooked treatments is restoring quality sleep. Consider LeBron James. He's often quoted saying he sleeps 8-10 hours a night plus naps, crediting that recovery for his mental sharpness on the court. If an elite athlete protects his sleep like gold, shouldn't we all? For seniors, structured bedtime routines, avoiding caffeine late in the day, and light exposure in the morning often make the difference. Stress management. Stress reduction is medicine. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton, after his heart surgery, turned to yoga and meditation as part of his recovery. He admitted it wasn't just his body that needed healing, it was his mind. For many seniors I've treated, simple tools like deep breathing, Tai Chi, or daily prayer have melted away mental fog faster than any pill. Nutrition. Food is brain fuel. Nobel laureate Linus Pauling, who championed vitamin C, believed that micronutrients were central to maintaining cognitive health. While his views sparked debate, the science today confirms that deficiencies in B12, iron, or omega-3 can trigger mental dullness. Correcting those imbalances through food or supplements often brightens cognition within weeks. I remember a retired teacher, Mrs. Alvarez, who had been living with fatigue and forgetfulness. A simple blood test revealed she was low in B12. With dietary changes and supplements, she came back a month later, laughing that she could now beat her grandchildren at memory games again. Medications. Sometimes, the solution is as simple as reviewing prescriptions. I recall one patient who was taking a sleep aid nightly. Once we worked with his primary care doctor to taper him off and switch to non-drug sleep strategies, his fog began to clear. Movement. Exercise is not just for the body, it oxygenates the brain. Pope Francis, even in his advanced age, has emphasized daily walking as his secret to staying mentally alert. Science backs this. Even light exercise boosts blood flow, enhances neurotransmitters, and supports sharper thinking. Mind engagement. And let's not forget mental workouts. Warren Buffett, still razor sharp in his 90s, has said he spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading and thinking. That intellectual engagement is a natural antidote to brain fog. For my patients, I often recommend puzzles, language learning, or volunteering as ways to keep the brain active and engaged. The outlook, a message of hope. Here's what decades of practice have taught me. brain fog is rarely permanent. It is a messenger, not a sentence. Once the cause is found, be it stress, sleep, diet, medications, or medical illness, clarity often returns. Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." That applies beautifully to brain fog. Each episode is not just a frustration, but an opportunity to learn what your body is trying to tell you. I've had patients in their 70s and 80s who feared their sharp days were over. Yet, after small changes, better sleep, healthier food, gentler routines, they came back weeks later saying, "Doc, I feel like myself again." And that's the truth. With awareness, patience, and the right approach, the fog lifts, the light returns. If this message resonated with you, I'd truly love to hear your story. Drop a comment below with your age and where you're watching from. Let's grow a community of clarity, wisdom, and support where we can all learn from one another. And always remember, your mind is your most precious tool. When you treat it with care, it rewards you with focus, resilience, and brilliance that can last for years to come. This is Senior Health After 50. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay hopeful. And if you found value here today, take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend or loved one, and subscribe so you'll never miss the simple, science-backed strategies that keep you thriving well beyond 50. I'll see you in the next video.